Hello and welcome to another Sparkle 5 tutorial. We can now create a much requested feature in Sparkle, the accordion. It's a simple but yet elegant device to display a question and answer layout for your customers. To do this, we're going to use the layout block and some buttons. So let's get into it. Here we are in Sparkle with a blank canvas. The first step is to create a button. The button will have two objectives. It will hold the question, and it will also act as a trigger to open the layout block which contains the answer. So our first step is to stylize the button and add the question. And today we'll just ask, which Sparkle version should I purchase? Let's stylize this now. So Helvetica, we'll leave it at bold. We'll increase the size to 18 point. We'll align it left, but we'll give it a 20 pixel indent. The fill of the button I'm going to leave it white. I'm going to add a border, and we'll just add a pinky purpley border. We'll round the corners, let's say to 10 pixels. And there we have our question and trigger as a button. So the idea is that we click on the button and the answer will appear below as a drop down. First thing we need to do also is just to cover the mouse hover states. And we'll change the backgrounds to a pink fill. We'll leave the border with pink, but we'll turn the text white. And we'll also do the same for the mouse clicked. There we go. Let's take a quick look in the preview for that. And as you can see, as I hover over, you can see the hover state changing. Now we haven't assigned that to do anything yet because there's nothing to do. Let's go back to Sparkle. Now we're going to create a layout block. And I'm going to call this a container because the layout block simply holds all the elements you need for your answer. Before I even do that, I'm just going to do some housekeeping. And I'm going to call this question 1 in the layers panel. So now we can add our layout block. And here you can see it looks like a wide box, but if you just think of it as a container, this is what's going to hold our answer elements. And the answer elements I want to put in is a box similar in style to the question, and obviously some text within that box. So first thing to do, I've got the container highlighted. So I will add a box, and that puts it within the container. So we'll stretch the box to the same size as the question, and we will stylize the box in a similar manner to the question button. And we'll just round the corners to 10 point. That's our box established, and I'll just close the container up to match roughly the height of the box. Now, whilst we're here, let's go back to the layers menu, and we're going to say answer container. And we'll just call this answer 1 box, like that. Now you can see the box is within the container. And I've also popped the question on top because physically that's where it is on the page. The next thing I need to do is add some text. So we'll click on the text box, and again you can see it's put it in the layers panel within the container because I had the container highlighted. So let's put answer text 1, And we'll insert some lorem ipsum text. That's a little bit too much there. Right, so let's stylize this text. We'll keep it in the font it's in. I'm not worried about the fonts at this stage. I'm just going to resize it a little bit. We'll keep it aligned left, and that should be fine. So now we'll just place it into the box where we want it and align it with the question above. We can fill that space there. Okay, now I can adjust where that text is in the box. Sorry, let's just get to the text and we'll move that down so it's centered vertically, roughly. I'm doing this very quickly, and we'll align it left with the text above. Okay, let's have a quick look at the preview. And that's what we've got. I purposely left the container blue so you can see that it's a container and we're working within it. Now again, still nothing is happening. We've just got elements on the page and we've got a mouse hover state here. Okay, let's pop back to Sparkle. Now I know where my elements are. I can actually say to the container, when the page is loaded, I don't want you showing, so initially hidden. I also don't want any fill at all, so I'm going to click the clear color. Now we have that. So we're still in our container, and here's our button above it. Now we're going to attribute a trigger to the button to act on the container. And the way to do that is to highlight that button, go to the on-click contextual menu and select Layout Block Visibility. We'll select our answer container. And we'll also say when I click it, I want to toggle it on and off. I also, if I've got more than one question, I only want one question open at once. And as long as I'm within the same group ID, which I'll show you in a minute, then only one question will appear open. So that gives you the fact that I'm now in a group ID of 0. We'll animate it on as a fade over, let's say, half a second. And now let's go back to the browser and see what's happening. So it's initially hidden. That's good. Hover state, click, and there's my accordion. Click again, and it disappears. That's the very basics of how to create an accordion. So now let's go back to Sparkle. And I'm just going to speed the video up here and do exactly the same so we've got 2 questions. So just bear with me on this for a minute and I'll recreate another set of questions. So here we are with question 2 in place. And if we now go over to the preview, you can see both questions are there, but initially closed, which is what we want. If I click on question 1, it pushes everything on the page down and reveals the question. If I then move to question 2, it will close question 1 and open question 2. Very elegant and designed beautifully. And of course you can stylize these how you want. Let's pop back to Sparkle. I've also set up another page with all the questions ready to go, but I've grouped them separately. So the first group is ID group 0 and the second group is ID group 1. So they will act independently of each other. In other words, I can open and close questions within this group without affecting that group. So let's have a look at this in reality. If I open group 1, you can see it responds how it should. Now I'm going to leave that one open and I'm going to go to group 2 and I can start opening and closing group 2 separately. So that's what the group ID allows you to do now. It has multiple separate independent groups of questions and answers on a single page. Very nice. So that's it for this accordion tutorial. I hope you got something out of it. Thanks for watching.